日本時間4月7日、ドジャースの大谷翔平選手は、敵地トロントでのブルージェイズ戦に1番 DH で先発出場をしました。昨年ワールドシリーズの激闘以来となったこの試合に、両軍の放送席も大興奮。この日の大谷選手は3回に投手への内野安打で出塁し、昨年8月24日から続く41試合連続出塁を記録。この出塁で日本選手の記録では2004年のイチロー氏を抜き、単独2位に浮上しました。また、6対1とリードして迎えた6回、マンティプリー投手の4球目、内角低めに来た、ボール気味のシンカーをすくい上げ、バックスクリーンへ、特大本塁打を放ちました。角度25度、打球速度 107.8 マイル、約 173.5 キロ、飛距離414フィート、約 126.1 メートルの豪快弾に、敵地ファンも大興奮。試合は、ダルトン・ラッシング捕手が4打数4安打、2本塁打と大暴れ。5本塁打、14得点の猛攻で14対2で、ドジャースが大勝しました。また、大谷選手の第1打席では、敵地ロジャースセンターに大ブーイングが鳴り響き、異様な雰囲気に包まれました。この大ブーイングに、ブルージェイズ側の現地実況が、その背景を言及し、話題を呼んでいました。ここからは、その様子を字幕付きでご紹介します。
Yoshinobu Yamamoto certainly deserved all the praise, even the hyperbole after that incredible World Series performance. He returns to the mound at Rogers Center tomorrow. But first, he's today's Dodger Voice, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
Yoshi, you are back where it all happened. What is it like being back here in Rogers Center?
トロントにワールドチャンピオンになってそこに戻ってきたわけですけど、どういう感じですか？
少し懐かしさと、また、なんていうんだろうな、またワールドシリーズを思い出すような気持ちもありますし、明日の試合に向けて、気を引き締めているところです。
It's a little bit like a nostalgic or sentimental, because looking back that day. But now, because I'm trying to focus on the tomorrow's outing.
What did you learn about yourself and just how you were able to be available and show up for your team on the biggest of stages?
山本さんがそういう大きいゲームとかこういったゲームでその準備できるっていうことのなんか要因っていうのはどういうことですか？
どうでしょうね。何が、いい結果につながっているかは分からないですけど、どの試合も、すごく集中して準備してますし、なんていうんだろうな、大きいゲームだから、特別に何かとかは、特になくて、いつもどの試合も、その大きいゲームぐらい、気持ちを込めて、準備してます。
I treat every game just like the same. No matter how important, how big the game is, I just treat that every game as the same. And then just normal games, I just pretend that that's the biggest game in my life. Yeah.
Finished Game 6. Could you have imagined pitching in Game 7, let alone pitching almost 3 innings?
To be honest, because I wasn't really thinking about it the moment I went up in the mound. But as I was getting warmed up in the bullpen, it started getting real.
Throwing your bullpen session today and then starting tomorrow, is it last year good practice for that?
調子もよく準備できてますし、感覚も少し良くなったので、明日はなんとか自信を持ってマウンドに上がりたいなと思います。
I think because the preparation wise, because it's going well, and then actually today I started getting feel better in today's bullpen.
We saw some amazing defensive plays behind you during whether it was Game 7, just the World Series in general. Do you have a favorite one that stands out to you?
いや本当にすごいプレーが何個も出たので、なんていうんだろう、よくパヘスが取ったフライとか、最後のダブルプレーもそうですけど、それ以外にも本当にすごいプレーがもう数えれないほど出た試合だったなと試合を振り返りながら、オフシーズンに思いました。
Yeah, because when I reflecting back, because it's kind of hard to pick only one, because about his catch, because he made the play, and then the very last double play, those are great, that come up in my mind, but because it's really hard to pick up one. Yeah.
And we welcome you inside. Hope your week is off to a great start. Joe Davis, Thor Hershiser, all of baseball looking at this part of the schedule here really early on. A marquee matchup, a World Series rematch.
All of baseball, including the players. One side trying to turn the page from last year and forget about it. The other one comes into Toronto, into this stadium, and goes, I love the energy here. I got great memories.
I know Kirsten Watson has been down on the Dodgers side getting that take.
Yeah, Joe, when you talk to these guys, they really think about all of the emotions they went through last year, especially in that Game 7. Of course, they forced that Game 7. They came in, there was the excitement. Then they're playing from behind. They're crawling back into it, and then the elation and the emotions of hoisting up that trophy. So all positive with coming back into this with those memories. But right now, they are also focused on turning the page, looking at 2026. They understand they set a big goal last year, going back-to-back. But right now, with this return, it feels familiar, of course. They were not here too long ago, but the focus for them is on this year, and how do they find ways to continue with that back-to-back-to-back going for the three-peat guys.
All right, Kirsten, let's take a look at the pitching for the Dodgers in these 3 games. They'll have Yamamoto and Ohtani the next 2 days. Today, it's Justin Robles. You gained so much confidence against these Jays in the World Series last year.
I look at the Dodger rotation. They've set it up for a rest for a 6 rotation, but you look at the Blue Jay rotation and you look like, I think they knew the Dodgers were coming to town.
Shohei Ohtani, who had such a great World Series offensively, hit .333, hit some home runs, got on base 9 times in the 18-inning game. And as much as the fans here and everywhere respect him, I think he's going to get welcomed rather unceremoniously. Yeah. Good call. That's what you call a layup. They don't mean anything by it, Mr. Ohtani. It just so happens you're the face of the team that beat the Blue Jays in the World Series last year. He's off to a good start with the bat, hit a home run yesterday. He will be the starting pitcher for the Dodgers on Wednesday afternoon. Fouls another one back, and Scherzer's out in front 0-2. Off the end of the bat to center field, and that ball is going to be caught by a sliding Dalton Varsho.
And this is what I meant by improved pitching, a good lineup, and a very good defense. The pitchers know what they have behind them. This is an excellent pitch by Scherzer. Gets that changeup down and away off the plate. Ohtani can cover so many pitches, but a good jump by Dalton.
2 away for Okamoto. Now, the only new face in this Blue Jays lineup from last year. Kaz Okamoto was a perennial all-star in Japan, 3-time home run champion there. Scorched to the left side, a base hit for Okamoto.
Saw a couple of home runs already on his resume over here, but since those home runs, he's had a lot of swing and miss, but he doesn't miss this one. Up fastball away that he pulls on the line. Easily gets through the 6-hole.
Hitting .235 with a couple of home runs in the early going. And he pulls a base hit through the left side. Springer up to second.
That's good for Okamoto. He needs to turn it around offensively on a tough weekend in Chicago, and the strikeouts are piling up. You get a guy like Robleski that's throwing a lot of fastballs. You look for it, and if you get it, hit it hard. That's exactly what he did.
He's put together quite a career for a guy who's a 27th round draft pick. Ohtani digs it out, sends it in the air, center field. Varsho back. It is gone to center field. Ohtani's 3rd in 4 games on the trip.
Joe, he's a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Yeah.
We'll see him in Game 3 on the mound. In Game 1 here in Toronto, you get to see this.
3 hits on the homestand, 4 straight multi-hit games with 3 home runs on the trip.
Mantiply delivers the 2-1. And Ohtani blisters a ball left center field, pushing Varsho back on the warning track. He turns and watches it fly. Shohei Ohtani with his 3rd home run of this road trip. A solo shot to lead off the sixth. And the extra point is good for the Dodgers here in Toronto. 7-1.
And he sent it a long way. 400 feet to straightaway center. And the Daniels Jewelers.
Will Klein is up in the bullpen for the Dodgers. As Ohtani hits one to deep left center field. Racing back Varsho, it's gone. His third of the season. It is 7-1.
The most dangerous part of Shohei Ohtani is that he can hit it out of the ballpark anywhere. Does not have to pull the baseball. And this was down in his wheelhouse, and he just ripped it straight away center field.
One of one, that guy.
Out of that left arm, but a guy that knows what he's doing out there. He's been around a long time.
A lot of sinker curveball. The 2-1 is smashed out to left center field. Varsho on the run at the warning track, curls to the wall, runs out of room, and it is gone. Shohei Ohtani homers in Toronto to make it 7-1 Dodgers in the sixth. On a sinker that was down and in, out of the zone. Somehow Ohtani hits it out to the opposite field. Because it's his baseball world and we're all living in it.
You could probably chalk that up to falling behind 2-0, but that's not a pitch that many people hit out. A fastball, a sinking fastball down and in. He actually hit that to the left side of center field. That's a great swing from a very, very good player.
And you had quite the day at the plate. 4 hits, 2 of those happened to be home runs. I know a big thing for you has just been consistency to get those results. What did it say as to where your swing is at right now?
Yeah, it's in a good spot. Sadly, it's only downhill from here. But no, it was a great day. I'm glad we could obviously get the bats going. Everyone did their part. Pitchers did a great job establishing the strike zone and just getting us through quick innings, you know. And yeah, let's carry it on tomorrow.
I don't think it can be downhill from here, considering you had a big home run yesterday as well.
yeah, it's a good streak. We're gonna ride the wave and see how it goes in the next few days.
Yesterday, you told us that there were no holes in this lineup, and I think we could even include Miggy on the mound. No holes with that either. But when it comes to that 17 hits, I mean, how does today's performance offensively just continue to prove that point?
Yeah, I think, like I said yesterday, it's just kind of carrying on factor. The guys that play every single day to the guys that play twice a week. It's they just kind of lead us in the right way, and hitting is contagious, you know. So, like I said, the offense looks good, and hopefully we can just carry it over.
There's obviously a lot of memories being back here. Just how special is it for you to have this performance today on this field in Rogers Center?
Yeah, it's sweet. I didn't get the opportunity to play here last year. I was here. I was part of it. But, no, I was glad to kind of leave my part and just have some fun on the field today.
A big one. Congratulations on this one, Dalton.
Thank you so much.
5 homers tonight in order. Teoscar, then Freddie, Shohei, Dalton rushing did it twice. These 4 guys combined to knock in 10 of the Dodgers' 14 runs and no more. We talked about it in the pregame show, how this team was really swinging the bats well coming into the series and how the players weren't overreacting to the first 6 games of the year where the offense was kind of scuffling a little bit. We all knew that eventually this lineup was too good to get going, and boy, have they gotten
Well, we know this is what they're capable of doing. Everybody in the league knows that, and I think fans, we were expecting this, you know, early in the season, and it's like, it's okay if it doesn't happen, but there's a long season. And
Shohei Ohtani is kind of that table setter for the Dodgers in a way at the top of the lineup. Now has an on-base streak of 41 consecutive games. He had the infield single and also went deep.
You know, I love the fact that he can get on base so many different ways. We saw that swinging bunt, using his speed to get on base. He got to second base on the throwing error. He'll take a walk. He understands that, you know what, sometimes it's better for me to pass the baton, allow my teammates to knock me in. But he also can do this. This ball is down and in, drops the head, and it goes out in a hurry on a line. In order for him to do that, he's got to be able to create backspin. He cannot drop or collapse his backside. He's got to use his hands, create that backspin, outstanding swing. When he stays square, and listen, we saw the first 6 games, especially at home, he was pulling his front shoulder. They told him that, went back, worked on what he needed to work on, keeping that front shoulder closed as long as possible. That allows him to use his hands naturally, and that's the result. homers, singles, stealing some bases at times. Just so fun to watch.
It seems like the infield hit gets this offense going. We've seen that. Right. We saw that when early on in the season. It was an infield hit, and all of a sudden the offense woke up. You know, I know they scored a couple of runs with the Oscars home run in that first inning, but after that, it was his infield hit, and everybody said, "Oh, well, we all just got to wake up and start hitting." They did, just up and down the lineup. You know, Shohei, you're right. He does it in so many different ways to really get things going at the top of the lineup.
I think it was any kind of gamesmanship at the end, them having Rojas pitch.
No, they've done that before. You know, we've done that where, you know, I don't know what their schedule looks like, but you know, you want to save arms. You know, we're in the same boat right now, and you know, games like that. You know, no, I think that they've done that. I think they've done that quite a bit with Kike. You know, and he's out there wearing the helmet and things like that, but. No, Doc's too much of a professional to do that or anything like that. I mean, he had Tucker in there, Teo in there. He took Freddie out because Freddie's getting a little old.
Choo-choo! It's a little crowded in the train station.
This train station's busy.
I've never been here before.
Welcome.
My first time. Thank you. First class car for you, EK.
Yeah, isn't it clean? But he's done a great job with this train station. He really has. So Shohei Ohtani has done it all, right? I mean, World Series champion, 4-time MVP. But what he hasn't done is won a Cy Young.
I think he's going to be subconsciously trying to gun for that Cy Young. And what I mean by that is he's going to be conservative with his energies, especially on the days that he has to do both. You're not going to see him run the bases more aggressively, trying to steal a base. You're not going to see those triples as much. He's going to save his legs so he can repeat his delivery and keep velo and command. I think that's very important for him. Hasn't started the season on the mound since 2023, so this is a sight for sore eyes, being able to start on the mound and get off to a good start. Let's watch the tape here because I got to show you some of this stuff that he possesses. And you guys watch baseball a lot. But the bottom line is, when he's in tune with his mechanics and has the fluidity of it, that fastball will play. 97 right there, anywhere from 96 to 100 miles an hour. That's all the closer has. The curveball, you know, that's my favorite. That's the whooper duper right there. Look at the velocity change at 76 miles an hour. Now you feel like you have a gauge on that, 87 miles an hour with the sweeper. That's just as hard as my fastball. And we didn't even get the tape of the split finger. So that's a lot that he throws at a lot of hitters, and being able to beat in the strike zone consistently will be key. Now, if he starts 25 starts, maybe he can accumulate enough starts. I love how you smile.
So, yeah, you're saying he's going to get a Cy Young?
I think he's going to be able to stay healthy. He will get a Cy Young, and they're going to push for it to the Dodgers.
Shohei Ohtani, give me your hot take.
Yeah, I think he's a Cy Young finalist. And my hesitancy to say Cy Young is I don't think he gets the innings. It kind of ties back into the conversation we just had. I think we could see the lowest ERA in baseball out of him this year. That's how good he is. That's how dominant he is. Now, he's not going to get the starts and the innings, I don't think, to get the Cy Young award when you're going up against guys like a Paul Skeens in the National League. But that's, I think, I've talked to John Smoltz a lot about this. He said if he were just pitching, I think he's the best pitcher in the game of baseball.
Yeah.
That's how high the praise is.
Top
This
three.
isn't some two-trick pony. This is one of the best pitchers and one of the most dominant pitchers in the game of baseball, if we're just talking about that.
Ben, while this is up on the screen, look, his high point is 166. So you got to be around there if you're winning the Cy Young. Even if the Skeens blows up a few times, it might be gettable. But he's going to have to put the throttle down a bit. And along the lines of what you were just saying, they're going to, like, before the All-Star break, he sits. After the All-Star break, he sits. At some point in August, he sits. I think they'd be foolish, actually, to try to get 165 out of him. He's the golden goose. He's the best hitter in the league. You have to protect him.
But you know what, BK? I think he wants it. I think that's one thing he wants in his career. And he's mapped out his entire career. What's one thing he set his mind to and hasn't accomplished? One that he wants and has been vocal about is he wants to win a Cy Young Award. I'm never doubting that guy.
Yeah, and he's off to such a great start. He was great in spring. He's going 4 innings. So, no, he's doing it.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーなどを中心に野球情報をお届けしています。この動画が良かったら高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。今回も最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。